Good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Brian Ragsdale and the lead organizer for our cross-cultural collaboration workshop today. So following my brief welcome, Ashley Burton, who will be providing our technical support, will provide information about how to use Zoom. Next slide, please. So here are our learning objectives for today. I'll let those who are able to see them go ahead and take a read them and make some notations if you like. And then for those who are on audio, I will read them. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to read what our objectives are. Great. Our learning objectives today is to explore and better understand the saliency of self-reflection in cross-cultural collaborations. Our second learning objective or goal is to appraise our self-awareness processes. Our third is to learn a practice tool to increase authenticity, humility, and vulnerability in cross-cultural collaborations. Next slide, please. And at the top, it describes what our real-world solutions to real-world problems are. And I'll give you all a moment to go ahead and read that brief description of what our real-world solutions to real-world problems collective is. I'll read it for those who may be on audio. Once again, this is Dr. Brian Ragsdale speaking, and we're so glad that 58 of you have joined us today. Thank you. So our real-world solutions to real-world problems is an interdisciplinary team that provides opportunities for Walden's community of scholar practitioners and change agents to share insights and expertise about current social problems. Our wide range of virtual sessions aim to educate, inform, and challenge others to improve the circumstances around each critical topic that we address. Our executive sponsors are Dr. Savitra Dixon-Saxon, Dr. Bill Schultz. I am the lead organizer, Dr. Brian Ragsdale, and we have our members and organizers, Dr. Denise Boston, Dr. Stephanie J.W. Ford, and Molly Raymond. And I would like to thank our team for demonstrating how vulnerability, authenticity, and cultural humility are indeed skills that can be learned and practiced. Next slide, please. So here is a brief overview of the workshop for today. We'll start off with our keynote and followed by a panel discussion and then our breakout session. So the first part of the day is from 10 o'clock a.m. Central Time to 11:40 a.m. Central Time, and then we'll break for lunch. So please note that the keynote and the panel discussion will be recorded. However, in the afternoon, during the breakout sessions in the afternoon, those will not be recorded in the afternoon breakout sessions. So we are so glad that you all have joined us today, given all of the adjustments and stress we are facing in this global pandemic. We realize that some of you might have children and other loved ones listening. So we're asking for all of us to be mindful of that possibility. So once again, we welcome you to our cross-cultural collaboration workshop. In my opinion, our ability to communicate and learn cross-culturally is needed now more than ever.
Thank you, everyone. Wow, 60 people are on board with us today. That is beautiful and amazing. And Ashley's transitioning the PowerPoint to me, so I will be moving forward. It is such a gift and a privilege to share this time with you all today. I'm wishing you health and wellness from afar. Thank you, Dr. Ragsdale, for your vision and creating this meaningful workshop. And it's been an honor and a privilege to be part of such a dynamic real-world solutions for real-world problems workshop planning team. Molly Raymond, I want to say thank you to you. Dr. Stephanie Ford, thank you so much. Dr. Savitra Dixon-Saxon, my deep appreciation. And Dr. Bill Schultz, thank you for all of the work that's gone into making this a reality for us today. And our support team, our amazing support team, Ashley Burton and Lita Downs, I want to say thank you to you as well. Our collaboration across departments and disciplines was a model of Ubuntu. Ubuntu is an African Bantu term, which means a person is a person through other people. And so I know I've grown immensely with this collaboration. So what a fortuitous time to be gathering together today. From our social distancing and our self-quarantine spaces, to take part in what it means to be interconnected and integrated and interrelated and with an intercultural human connection. We are living in unprecedented times. But what this does is that it gives us a chance now to use tools that many of our ancestors used to persevere and to persist, as well as giving us a heightened and renewed sense of how much we need each other across our myriad of differences, to join in conversation about the intersectionality of issues and struggles, about vulnerability, about authenticity, and about humility. I would like for us to contemplate a question: what impedes cross-cultural collaborations? Is it fear, distrust, suspicion, intolerance? How are we responding to difference? The lesson in our current global upheaval and the unpredictable health crisis that we're in is that collaboration will be the key factor in our personal and collective survival. It calls for us to think more deeply about what human encounters really mean and the purpose of our interconnected lives. Together, we have an opportunity to reset our social cognitive programming and acquire a cultural metacognitive skills and cultural intelligence. Metacognitive skills. Thinking deeply about thinking. How do we think about ourselves in this world together? How do we think deeply about the ways in which we're treating each other? And does it take something like this for us to understand how important it is for us to be global citizens in the world? Who are we in today's complex world? Are we aware how we carry with each of us every day, every minute, every hour, our cultures, our own identities, our stories, our values, our early influences as a backpack that we carry with us every day? And it shapes the way we interact with people in the world. had we thought very deeply about how we show up in the world. That is what is called vulnerability, to be in the discomfort of the unknown. Cultural metacognition, thinking about one's thinking. Ong states that defined cultural metacognition, he defines it, and they define it, as a mental process directed at acquiring, comprehending, and calibrating cultural knowledge. Acquiring, comprehending, and calibrating cultural knowledge. Thinking deeply about culture provides us an opportunity to recognize the limits of one's ability. It provides us an opportunity of reflective thinking about ourselves and our intercultural interactions. It helps us acquire new knowledge about the world around us. It helps us to build an observable mindset. And it helps us to adapt and perform to new behaviors. In order for me, and I'll tell you a personal story, for me to develop a cultural, a metacognitive presence is what I call it, I sought out an opportunity to teach psychology courses abroad. And I was successful in landing a position at Yonsei University in Seoul, Korea. For 7 years, I taught cross-cultural psychology and developmental psychology courses in the Yonsei International Summer School Program with undergraduate students. In my classroom, I introduced conversations to international students from all over the world who attended this program. But my class, I wanted to be really relevant to what it means to look at classism in the world, and racism, and homophobia, and xenophobia, and ableism, and colorism within the mental health and human behavior field. Both of my classes had from 40 to 70 students enrolled. They were huge classes. And I didn't have to worry about communication because students had to have English as a strong second language, but I had an assistant, a teaching assistant working with me, and she taught me so much just about, you know, how she was learning so much from being in the class with me. She shared with me that I was the first African-American professor she ever met. This is a young lady from Seoul. But the students in the classroom were also from Singapore and Japan and China and Taiwan and Asian students in the United States. Yonsei summer program, they attended there to gain extra credit so they could go back to their home schools. But also they came there to play, and they came there to enjoy the nightlife of Seoul, Korea, and the food, and of course, K-pop, and so did I. I enjoyed my time there. I was there for 7 summers. They kept asking me to come back to teach, and I kept going back to teach. Last year was my last year in Seoul, Korea. Well, a year before, because I started here at Walden last summer. Without being proficient in the language, I used my cultural intelligence skills to navigate inside and outside the classroom by observing my surroundings, being open to different behaviors and cultures and customs, and sharing my cultural background and values and traditions, which made the international and intercultural exchanges very dynamic and enriching for all of us. To engage my diverse student body to psychological theories and human behavior, I did it through a lens of their culture, not just my Western cultural perspective. I included course projects that gave the students an opportunity to identify issues related to generational and social issues. Their research findings enabled me to learn more deeply about young adult Asians in the diaspora and situate knowledge from the students' lived experiences. They were so used to Western teachers coming there teaching solely about Western cultures and customs that they were surprised that I really wanted to bring them into the classroom. I was moved by their work, and they were moved by my joy of being a student learning from them. At the end of my 6-week summer sessions, one of my summer sessions, a student approached me after he dropped off his final paper. And with two hands, a custom that they have when they are sharing personal cards or anything that they're sharing, money, they give it to you with two hands. And so he gave me an origami bird that he made for me after class. He was a quiet student, but he was always physically present and very engaged in my classroom. He left me with the gift, and he bowed and walked away. What I will never forget is that he affirmed me as a teacher, and he made me understand that the aspect of my work as a teacher is relational and sacred. Bell Hooks states that when everyone in the classroom, teachers and students, recognizes that they are responsible for creating a learning community together, learning is at its most meaningful and useful. According to social researchers, cultural metacognition increases intercultural effectiveness by promoting contextualized thinking, a heightened sensitivity about other cultures and your own culture, and cognitive flexibility, which means that you have to move with your present situation. You can't stay stagnant when you're in the presence of others and when you're holding their stories in the palm of your hands. You have to be changed and transformed. So cross-cultural work requires that thoughtful, intensive processes are important, and a drive to want to share your light, to deeply listen, and to join with others with an open heart. The ability to be mindful, to bring our authentic and creative selves is a transformative act of kindness. It is a transformative act of kindness. I encourage you to learn today the full breadth of this workshop experience. Open your heart to new knowledge, courageous conversations, and empowering cross-cultural interactions. We have an opportunity to reimagine ourselves by being deeply engaged, purposefully present, and deeply related to the daily practice of working across cultures. Maybe the purpose of being here, wherever we are, is to increase the durability and the occasions of love among and between peoples. June Jordan. Thank you so much. Thank you.